Okay, since 2004, social media usage has increased from 24% to 78%, which is a 54% increase in the last 8 years. So I claim that the growth of social media has a significantly negative effect on people. I'm going to prove this 3 ways. 1, social media has a negative effect on our social skills. 2, social media can be a dangerous place for social interactions. And 3, social media decreases one's productivity and ability at work. So social media has a negative effect on social skills. Kids nowadays start using social media around 8 years old, and you usually see like moms give their kids their phones just to kind of like shut them up, right? And that's where it all starts. According to the Common Sense Media poll, kids 8 through 12 usually spend an average of 8 hours a day on social media, and kids 13 through 18 spend an average of 9 hours a day on social media. To put that in perspective, a 24-hour day with 8 hours of sleep, 9 hours is 56% of your day on social media, which is pretty drastic. And that kind of messes with the face-to-face conversation. When you're on social media for so long, you don't really get that face-to-face communication with people. Psychologist Sherry Turkle, who is a professor of science and technology at MIT, states we're sacrificing conversation for mere connection. So on Instagram and Facebook, when we get enough likes, we feel confident. We feel like we're connected with people. So it makes us feel good. So instead of having a face-to-face conversation where you have a chance to be wrong and feel vulnerable, we'd rather just stick to getting as much likes as we can rather than trying to be vulnerable and have a face-to-face conversation. Social media, into my second claim, social media can be a dangerous place for social interactions. If you guys have ever seen the music video on Online called, it's called Online by Brad Paisley. It's a super funny music video where this guy, he's like big and fat and he like lives with his mom, and he says everything's better online because online he can be whoever he wants. So his online persona is this super hot, buff dude that can get all the ladies. And it's really funny to laugh at, but in reality it's like possible, right? And they call that catfish, and it's in the dictionary. It's defined as a person who sets up false personal profile on social media for fraudulent or deceptive purposes. According to the Huffington Post, Facebook released a report in 2016 that out of the 1.71 billion users on Facebook, 170 million are fake accounts. So there's a big chance that you could be getting catfished right now and not even realize it. With the whole catfish thing and everything, there has a lot of cyber fraud, and there's like $500 billion according to Forbes in 2015 of cyber fraud, and it's predicted to get even up to 2.1 trillion in 2019. It also has to do with 33%, according to Huffington Post, 33% of internet-initiated sex crimes involve social networking sites. So predators are really able to friend you on Facebook, get to know you, gain your trust. You meet up with them, the next thing you know, you're like cut up in little pieces and whatnot. Another big thing with social media and being dangerous is cyberbullying. Cyberbullying Research Center came up with a study saying 34.4% of kids have been cyberbullied in their lifetime. And this is a huge deal because cyberbullying victims are 7 to 9% more likely to commit suicide. And suicide is, I think, the 3rd causing death in the United States. So it's a big deal and something that shouldn't be taken lightly. My third claim is social media decreases one's productivity and ability at work. So addiction. You can be addicted to sex, drugs, food. Here's the definition. Compulsive need for and or use of a habit forming substance characterized by tolerance and by well-defined psychological symptoms upon withdrawal. So for our generation, that kind of has to do with social media. Like if we don't have our phones, we're like, oh my gosh, I feel naked. Like what am I doing with my life? And that goes towards work. According to the U.S. Chambers Foundation, we as millennials spend 1.8 hours in our 8-hour workday on social media, which pushes revenue up. I think we're losing, it says 900 million revenue a year because we're on social media. Another thing is the lack of privacy, and jobs do check social media. Career Builder does an annual social media recruitment survey. 60% of their employers look at social media to see who they're going to hire. And 49% of the hiring managers from the survey said that they weren't going to hire people because they saw something on social media that they didn't like. Whether it was provocative pictures, whether it was drinking and alcohol, they saw something they didn't like. And then my third is the amount of time spent on social media. As millennials, there's 80 million of us. 80% of us sleep with our phones by our bed. So we're constantly checking it. There was a survey done by Levinson who put adults into 4 categories, from least usage of social media to the most, and to see what sleep problems there were. The adults that had the most social media, they had really bad sleep patterns, so it affected them for the next day. And also social media, or cell phones, give out what's called a blue light that messes with the production of melatonin when you're sleeping. So when you're on your phone before bed, it really messes with your sleep pattern. So today I talked about social media with negative effects on social skills, how social media can be a dangerous place for social interactions, and how social media decreases one's productivity at work, which all make my claim the growth of social media as a significant negative effect on people. That's my old one.
It's one with my comments on it?
Yeah.
I need that too.
Yeah, okay. That's the only one I have right now.
You'll get me another one?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, well, the proposition's very clearly identified. You've got a good preview. I think you need to do a little bit more to justify the controversy on this. The statistics that you have, you've got a lot of statistical information in the presentation, which I thought was pretty effective. You're also giving sources for almost all of your information. That's good. You've got a few hypothetical examples that you illustrate with your points, but you've also got some other practical illustrations too. The issue about social skills, I do think needs a little bit more development, but the issue about dangers, you actually have some quantification on that. That I thought was interesting. And on the productivity thing, I thought you also had some good data on that as well to illustrate that point. You have an excellent audience contact while you're speaking. You do a good job building some credibility on those points. I'm rushing a little bit because I know that we are close to the end of the time here. All right.